Hey guys, tonight we wake up beneath the stone walls of ancient Rome, inside a cold and crowded gladiator barracks where the air smells of sweat, dust, metal, and yesterday's training. You open your eyes on a hard wooden bed, surrounded by men who are not preparing for a normal day of work. They are preparing to fight for their lives. The sound of chains moving, footsteps echoing, and wooden swords hitting shields fills the room before the sun even rises. You look down and realize something important. You are not watching a movie about gladiators. You are one of them, and while the idea of being a famous warrior sounds exciting, the reality is very different. You probably won't survive this, because gladiator life was not about glory, golden armor, and dramatic speeches. It was about pain, discipline, hunger, fear, and hoping you would see another sunrise. Tonight, you'll experience what it truly feels like to wake up as a Roman gladiator. You'll train until your muscles burn, eat simple meals, hear the roar of thousands of spectators, and discover why stepping into the arena was one of the most terrifying things a person could do. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And tell me in the comments where you are listening from and what your local time is right now. Maybe you're relaxing in a warm room while imagining yourself trapped in an ancient arena, which is probably the better option. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The first thing you notice is that your new home is not a palace. There is no luxury, no comfortable bed, no peaceful morning routine. Instead, you wake surrounded by thick stone walls and narrow hallways. The building around you is designed for one purpose: keeping fighters ready. This is where gladiators sleep, eat, train, and wait. The room is filled with people from different places. Some were soldiers captured during war. Some were enslaved and forced into fighting. Some joined willingly because they had few other ways to survive. Everyone here has a different story, but the same problem: stay alive. You slowly sit up, and your body immediately reminds you of yesterday's training. Every part of you hurts. Your shoulders ache from holding a shield. Your hands are sore from gripping a wooden sword. Your legs feel heavy from endless drills. And this is only training. The real fights have not even started. A guard walks past the doorway and calls for everyone to get ready. There is no sleeping in, no relaxing, no excuse. A gladiator's body is their weapon, and weapons must be maintained. You follow the others outside into the training yard. The morning air is cool, and the ground is covered with dust. In front of you stands a group of fighters practicing movements they have repeated hundreds of times. Swing, block, step, turn, strike. Every movement has a purpose. A mistake does not just mean losing points. A mistake can mean losing your life. Your instructor watches carefully. He is not impressed by strength alone. A huge fighter who cannot control himself is dangerous to everyone, including himself. You quickly learn that gladiator training is not about becoming angry. It is about becoming calm. The best fighters are not always the strongest. They are the ones who can think clearly while thousands of people scream around them. As you practice, you begin to understand something strange. The arena is not the hardest part. The hardest part is becoming someone who is ready to enter it. Every day follows a similar rhythm. Wake up, train, eat, train again, rest, repeat. There are no easy shortcuts. Your body slowly changes. Your muscles become stronger. Your movements become faster. Your balance improves. But your mind changes too. You become used to discomfort. You become used to exhaustion. You become used to knowing that somewhere in the future, a crowd may decide whether you live or die. Later, when you return to the barracks, you see other gladiators preparing their equipment. Some are sharpening weapons. Some are repairing armor. Some sit quietly, lost in thought. The room is strangely peaceful compared to the training yard. You realize that even the bravest fighters have moments where they think about what is coming. Because no amount of practice can remove one simple truth. The arena is unpredictable. You can train for years and still face an opponent who is faster. You can be famous and still fall. You can win many battles and still know the next one could be your last. A younger fighter nearby notices your worried expression and laughs softly. He tells you that every new gladiator looks the same on their first day. Confident at first, terrified later. You almost smile because he is right. You came here expecting stories of heroes. Instead, you found tired humans trying to survive. As the sun disappears and the stone walls become cold, you return to your small sleeping area. Around you, the sounds of the barracks slowly fade. Tomorrow, there will be more training, more pain, more preparation. But for tonight, you close your eyes and listen to the distant sounds of Rome outside. A city full of celebrations, markets, and powerful people. And somewhere inside that great city, you are just one gladiator. Waiting, training, surviving, because tomorrow, your real journey begins. The training yard becomes your second home, although calling it a home feels almost like a joke. Every morning, before the city of Rome fully wakes, you are already moving. The streets outside may be filling with merchants, children, and people searching for breakfast, but inside these walls, your day begins with the sound of wooden weapons hitting shields. Thump, thump, thump. The rhythm never stops. You stand among other gladiators, each person carrying their own history. Some are older fighters who have survived many battles. Some are new like you, still trying to understand how a simple mistake can become a deadly one. The instructor walks between the lines, watching every movement. He does not care if you are tired. He does not care if your arms are shaking. The arena will not care either. A gladiator must continue. You pick up your training sword again. It is made of wood, much heavier than you expected. At first you thought practice weapons would be easy, because they are not real. You were wrong. The weight is designed to build strength. Every swing feels like you are fighting against the air itself. You raise your shield. Your shoulder burns. You step forward. Your legs feel weak. But everyone around you keeps moving. Because stopping means falling behind. The instructor teaches you something important. Surviving in the arena is not about making the biggest attack. It is about controlling yourself. A fighter who rushes in without thinking is already defeated. The crowd may love dramatic moments, but the gladiator who survives is the one who stays patient. You practice the same movements again and again. A block, a turn, a strike, a retreat, a counterattack. Hundreds of times, thousands of times, until your body begins doing them, without your mind needing to command every movement. This is how gladiators are created. Not overnight, not through magic. Through endless repetition, the sun climbs higher, and the heat begins to settle over the training yard. Dust sticks to your skin. Sweat runs down your face. The wooden fence around the yard becomes warm beneath your hand when you lean against it. For a moment you wonder how anyone could choose this life. Then you look around. You see the other fighters. They are not just competitors. They are people who understand each other. Only another gladiator knows what it feels like to wake up, knowing your future depends on your ability to fight. There is a strange friendship here, a silent understanding. You train together, because tomorrow one of you may be the reason another person survives. After hours of practice, you return to the barracks. Your body feels heavy. Your hands are sore. Your muscles are begging for rest. But the day is not over. A gladiator's life is not just fighting. You clean equipment. You inspect armor. You repair small problems before they become dangerous. A loose strap on a helmet could become a serious weakness. A damaged shield could mean the difference between walking away and never returning. Every detail matters. Later you sit with a few other fighters. One older gladiator shows you scars covering his arms and shoulders. Each scar has a story. Some came from battles. Some came from training. Some came from simple accidents. He tells you that the arena creates memories you never forget, not because every moment is exciting, but because every moment feels important. You ask him if he ever gets scared. He laughs. Everyone gets scared. Even the best fighters, especially the best fighters. Fear is not the enemy. Ignoring fear is. The sun begins to disappear, and the training yard becomes quieter. You watch as the final fighters finish their exercises. There is something almost peaceful about it. The same place that felt terrifying in the morning now feels familiar. You are slowly becoming part of this world, not because you wanted to, but because humans adapt. That is one of the strangest things about history. People lived through conditions we would find impossible today. They woke up in places where survival was never guaranteed. And somehow, they still found ways to laugh, make friends, dream, and continue. As night arrives, you return to your sleeping area. The stone walls hold the days cold. The sounds of Rome continue outside. A city celebrating life while inside these walls, fighters prepare for death. You lie down and close your eyes. Tomorrow will bring more training, more exhaustion, more preparation, and maybe one day, the gates of the arena will open for you. But not yet. For now, you are still learning, still changing, still becoming a gladiator. The days begin blending together. After a while, you stop counting mornings and evenings separately. They become a cycle of training, eating, resting, and preparing. The stone walls around you no longer feel like a strange place. They feel like a reminder that this is your life now. You wake up, and before you even open your eyes completely, you already know what is coming. The sound of footsteps, the voices of other fighters, the movement of equipment, another day inside the world of gladiators. You slowly rise from your sleeping area, feeling yesterday's training still in your muscles. The body you brought here is changing. Every day of practice leaves a mark. Your hands are rougher. Your shoulders are stronger. Your movements are different. But one thing has not changed. You still remember that the arena waits. The barracks are not just a place to sleep. They are a place where gladiators spend their lives between battles. The walls are thick because they need to keep order. The doors are watched because the fighters inside are valuable. A trained gladiator is not seen as an ordinary person by the people who control them. They are an investment, a weapon, a performer, and sometimes a prisoner. You look around and notice how different everyone is. One man quietly sharpens his skills every morning, never speaking much. Another constantly tells jokes, trying to make everyone laugh. Someone else spends hours praying, hoping the gods will protect him. Everyone deals with fear differently. Some hide it. Some accept it. Some turn it into anger. But everyone feels it. A new fighter arrives in the barracks. You can immediately tell he has never been here before. His eyes move everywhere. The training equipment. The locked doors. The fighters with scars. The guards watching from the distance. He looks like someone who walked into a story and suddenly realized the story was much darker than expected. You almost want to tell him that you felt the same way. At first, you imagine gladiators as heroes. Strong warriors. Famous champions. People who choose their destiny. But the truth is more complicated. Some gladiators had no choice. Some were prisoners of war. Some were forced into this life. Some joined because they had nothing else. The arena created strange situations where people from completely different worlds stood together. A former soldier. A farmer. A criminal. A foreign fighter. All wearing similar armor. All facing similar dangers. The training begins again. Today, you focus on defense. The instructor explains that surviving is often more important than winning quickly. A reckless fighter may look impressive for a moment, but a careful fighter lives longer. You practice holding your shield correctly. The shield is not just a piece of wood and metal. It is your protection, your barrier, your second chance. The instructor reminds you that many gladiators are not defeated by a powerful attack. They are defeated by exhaustion. A tired fighter makes mistakes. A tired fighter loses focus. A tired fighter forgets the basics. So you train until the basics become automatic. The sun rises higher. The heat grows. Your arms become heavy. But you continue. Because everyone around you continues. There is a strange pressure in the training yard. Nobody wants to be the weakest person there. Nobody wants to be the one who cannot keep up. Even though you are all supposed to be teammates in a way, you are also competing. Every fighter wants a better reputation, a better chance, a longer life. After training, you return inside. The cool stone walls feel good after hours under the sun. You sit down and drink water slowly. It is not much. Nothing here is excessive. Everything is measured. Everything is controlled. A gladiator learns quickly that comfort is rare. Later you hear stories from older fighters. Stories about battles. Stories about famous arenas. Stories about men who became legends. One fighter tells you about someone who entered the arena with no hope and became admired across Rome. Another tells you about a champion who survived many battles but still lived with fear every night. The stories sound different, but they all share the same message. The arena changes people. Some become stronger. Some become broken. Some become famous, but nobody leaves the same person they were before. As evening arrives, you walk through the barracks and notice the quiet moments. A fighter repairing a sandal. Another writing something down. Two friends talking softly. A man staring at his hands, remembering a different life. These small moments are easy to forget when people talk about gladiators. They remember the fights, the crowds, the dramatic victories, but they forget the waiting, the hours before the battle, the ordinary days when nothing exciting happens. And those ordinary days are where most of a gladiator's life exists. You return to your sleeping area. The noise slowly fades. The torches flicker. The stone walls remain silent. Tomorrow the training will continue. The same exercises. The same discipline. The same uncertainty. But something inside you has changed. You are no longer just someone trapped in a strange place. You are learning the rules. You are adapting. You are becoming part of the world you once only imagined. And somewhere beyond these walls, the arena waits. Not today, not yet, but soon. The next morning arrives before you feel ready. That is one of the first lessons you learn as a gladiator. Time does not wait for you. The sun rises whether you are tired or not. The training begins whether your muscles are sore or not. The world outside continues moving, and inside these walls, your job is simple. Become better, or suffer the consequences. You step into the training yard again, but today feels different. Yesterday you were only trying to understand what was happening. Today you notice small details. The way experienced fighters hold their shields. The way they move their feet. The way they watch their opponents. You begin to realize that every gladiator is carrying years of practice in every movement. What looks simple is actually the result of endless repetition. A sword swing is not just a sword swing. It is timing, balance, control. A decision made in a fraction of a second. The instructor gathers everyone together and explains that a gladiator's greatest weapon is not the blade. It is the body. A strong body can survive longer. A trained body can react faster. A disciplined body can keep fighting when the mind wants to stop. You look around at the fighters beside you. They are not all huge. Some are smaller. Some are older. Some do not look like the warriors you imagine from stories. But each one has something important. Experience. They know how to move. They know how to avoid wasting energy. They know that every battle is a puzzle. The training begins with endurance. You run across the yard. Again and again. The ground feels harder every time your feet hit it. Your breathing becomes heavier. Your chest burns. But the others keep going. You push yourself to continue. Because a gladiator cannot choose when to feel comfortable. Comfort does not exist in the arena. After running, you practice with weapons. The wooden sword feels familiar now. Not easy. Never easy. But familiar. You hold it differently than before. Your grip is stronger. Your movements are smoother. The instructor notices. He does not praise you loudly. Gladiator training is not about compliments. A small nod is enough. You understand. Progress is measured quietly. After hours of practice, the fighters begin sparring. Not a real battle, not yet. But close enough to teach lessons. Your opponent stands across from you. You both know the purpose. To improve. To test. To learn. The first exchange is fast. Your shield moves. The wooden swords hit. The sound echoes around the yard. You feel the impact travel through your arm. Your opponent steps back. You move forward. For a moment you forget everything else. The walls. The guards. The future. There is only the fight. Then you make a mistake. A small one. Your foot moves too slowly. Your opponent taps your shoulder with the wooden sword. The yard goes quiet for a second. You lost. But you are still standing. The instructor explains why you failed, not to embarrass you, to teach you. A gladiator who learns from mistakes survives. A gladiator who repeats mistakes does not. You start again. This time, you pay attention. You wait. You think. You move. The second attempt is better, not perfect, but better. And that is how gladiators are created. One mistake at a time. By the afternoon, your body feels completely exhausted. You return to the barracks and notice something strange. You are tired, but you are proud, not because you won. You barely won anything, but because you improved. In this place, improvement is survival. The meal waiting for you is simple, nothing like the grand feasts wealthy Romans enjoy. You eat what is provided. You learn not to complain. Food is fuel, nothing more. Around you, other gladiators eat quietly. Some talk. Some rest. Some prepare mentally for future fights. A fighter across from you mentions the arena. He says his name has been announced. His next battle is coming. The room changes immediately. Everyone becomes quieter, because everyone understands. The arena is not just a place. It is a moment where everything you learned is tested. Training, discipline, courage, fear, all of it enters with you. Through those gates. Later that evening, you walk outside for a short moment. You can hear Rome. The city is alive. Music, voices, footsteps, people enjoying their lives. Somewhere out there, people are excited about tomorrow's games. They will come to watch. They will cheer. They will judge. But they will never truly understand what it feels like to stand where you stand. Because for them, the arena is entertainment. For you, it is everything. You return inside as the night grows colder. Tomorrow will bring more training, more preparation, more uncertainty, but you are no longer the person who woke up here on the first day. You are stronger, more aware, more prepared, still afraid, but ready. And for a gladiator, sometimes that is the closest thing to victory. The next part of your life as a gladiator begins with something surprisingly ordinary: food. After all the training, the battles, and the constant pressure, your body has one simple demand: energy. You need fuel. You might imagine a famous warrior sitting down to a huge Roman feast, surrounded by expensive food and endless plates. But that picture belongs to wealthy citizens, not fighters living inside a gladiator school. Your meals are practical. They are designed to keep you alive, not to make you feel like a king. You enter the eating area and see the same scene you have seen many times before. Fighters sitting together, some talking quietly, others eating without saying a word. Everyone is tired. Everyone is hungry. You sit down and look at the meal in front of you. Bread, simple vegetables, a basic grain dish, maybe some fruit when available. Nothing fancy. But after hours of training, even simple food feels valuable. You take your first bite and realize something important. A gladiator's life is not built on comfort. It is built on preparation. Every part of your day has a purpose. Training builds your strength. Rest repairs your body. Food gives you the energy to continue. Everything connects. An experienced fighter nearby explains that many people misunderstand gladiators. They think fighters survive only because they are naturally powerful. But strength does not appear by accident. It comes from routine, from doing the same difficult things again and again, from taking care of your body even when you are exhausted. You watch the older fighters eating. They are not rushing. They know their bodies. They know what they need. They understand that a hungry fighter becomes a weak fighter. And a weak fighter does not last long. You slowly begin to notice how much attention is given to staying healthy. The trainers watch the fighters. They want them strong. They want them ready. A gladiator who cannot perform is not useful. So the people managing the fighters make sure they have enough food to maintain their bodies. This creates a strange situation. You are treated like a valuable weapon. You are protected because you are important. But you are still not free. That thought stays in your mind. You have food. You have training. You have a purpose. But your choices are limited. After eating, the day is not finished. There is still work. You inspect your equipment. You clean your weapons. You prepare for tomorrow. A gladiator cannot ignore small problems. A damaged strap, a loose piece of armor, a weak grip. Anything can become dangerous. While checking your gear, you hear other fighters talking about the arena. One mentions the crowd. Another mentions an opponent. Someone else talks about the feeling of walking through the gate. Even though you have not experienced the real fight yet, you already understand the fear. It is not just the possibility of injury. It is the moment of being watched. Thousands of eyes. Thousands of opinions. A single mistake becoming a memory everyone remembers. You wonder how anyone stays calm. The older fighter answers without looking up. You don't become fearless. You become used to moving while afraid. That sentence stays with you because it changes how you think. Maybe courage is not the absence of fear. Maybe courage is continuing anyway. As evening arrives, the barracks become quieter. Some fighters exercise lightly, some rest. Some talk about their old lives. And that is when you notice something. Behind all the armor and weapons, these are ordinary people. A man misses his family. Another misses his old home. Someone remembers a job he once had. Someone dreams of freedom. The arena may turn them into fighters, but it does not erase who they were. You sit there listening, realizing that every gladiator carries two lives. The life before, and the life now. Outside, Rome continues. The city is full of people who will never know what happens behind these walls. They will hear stories of victories. They will celebrate champions. They will cheer when fighters enter the arena. But they will not see the quiet moments. The meals, the training, the waiting, the uncertainty. They will not see the person behind the helmet. Later you return to your sleeping area. Your body is tired, but your mind is awake. You think about tomorrow, another day of training, another day of becoming stronger, another day closer to the arena. The strange thing is that you are beginning to understand this life, not because it is easy. It is not because you enjoy every moment. You do not, but because humans adapt. Even in difficult places, people create routines. They make friendships. They find small reasons to keep going. You close your eyes. The stone walls around you remain cold and silent. Somewhere outside, Rome sleeps. And inside these walls, a new gladiator slowly prepares again. And before you even fully wake up, you already know what waits for you. The training yard, the dust, the wooden weapons, the constant pressure to improve. But today feels different. Today the instructors bring out something more serious. Real equipment, not just simple training tools. You walk toward the weapons area and see rows of helmets, shields, swords, and armor arranged carefully. For the first time, you understand that these objects are not decorations. They are the difference between life and death. A gladiator's weapon is not just a tool. It becomes part of the fighter. You watch an older warrior pick up his shield. He does not grab it casually. He checks the straps. He tests the balance. He knows every part of it. You are told to do the same. Your shield feels heavier than you expected. It is not something you simply hold. It affects every movement you make. Too slow, and you become an easy target. Too careless, and you leave yourself open. The instructor tells you that a shield is not only for blocking attacks. It controls space. It protects your body. It creates opportunities. You practice moving with it, forward, backward, turning, defending. At first you feel awkward. Your movements are slower. Your balance is different. The weight changes everything. But slowly, your body adjusts. This is what gladiators do. They adapt. Next comes sword training. You hold the weapon and feel its weight. It is shorter than the weapons used by some soldiers, designed for close combat. The instructor explains that every fighter must understand distance. Too far away, and you cannot attack. Too close, and you lose control. The arena is a game of decisions. Every second matters. You begin practicing with a partner. The first exchange is careful. You test each other, a strike, a block, a movement to the side. The wooden weapons hit with sharp sounds. The rest of the yard continues around you, but for a moment, your attention narrows. You are focused. You begin to understand why gladiators train so much, because fighting is not just strength. It is awareness. Your opponent is watching you, looking for weakness, waiting for a mistake, and you are doing the same. The instructor suddenly stops you. He points out something small. Your foot position. You were too open. A tiny mistake, something you almost did not notice. But in a real fight, that small mistake could decide everything. This is why gladiators repeat the basics, again, 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 until the body reacts before fear takes over. Later you practice with armor. This is when you discover another difficult truth. Armor protects you, but it also creates problems. It is heavy. It limits movement. It makes every action require more effort. Walking is harder. Turning is harder. Fighting becomes exhausting. You realize that an arena battle is not just about defeating an opponent. It is also about managing your own body. The longer the fight continues, the more difficult everything becomes. Your arms get tired. Your breathing becomes heavier. Your movements become slower. A smart fighter understands this. They do not waste energy. They wait. They watch. They survive. During a break, you sit near the edge of the training yard. You remove your helmet and breathe. The sun is high above you. The noise of training continues. You look around and notice something. Everyone here is preparing for the same thing. A moment when the gate opens. A moment when thousands of people watch. A moment where all the training becomes real. Some fighters seem excited. Some seem calm. Some hide their fear behind confidence. But everyone knows the truth. No amount of preparation can guarantee tomorrow. An older gladiator sits beside you. He tells you about his first arena fight. He says the worst part was not the opponent. It was the sound, the crowd, the shouting, the feeling that every person in the stadium was waiting for something. He says that the arena feels bigger than it really is, because fear makes everything larger. You listen carefully, because soon you may experience it yourself. As the day continues, you return to practice. The weapons feel more natural now. The armor feels slightly less unfamiliar. You are still learning, still far from being an expert. But you are changing. The person who arrived here would have struggled to hold the shield properly. Now you can move. Now you can defend. Now you can fight. As night approaches, you return your equipment. Every piece goes back carefully. Nothing is ignored. A gladiator learns respect for the tools that keep them alive. You walk back through the stone halls. The sound of footsteps echoes. The smell of oil, metal, and dust fills the air. Tomorrow may bring another normal training day. Or it may bring something else. A message, a decision, a chance to enter the arena. You do not know. And that uncertainty follows you as you lie down. The walls become quiet. The torches slowly burn lower. Your eyes close. And somewhere in the darkness you imagine the arena gates opening. Not today, but soon. The days continue, and the closer you get to the arena, the more you notice a strange change. The training is still difficult. The equipment is still heavy. Your body is still tired. But now, the hardest part is no longer the physical work. It is your mind. Because you know something is coming. The arena. You have heard about it since the first day. You have listened to older fighters describe it. You have imagined the gates opening, the crowd waiting, and the sound of thousands of voices surrounding you. But imagination is different from reality. And soon, you may discover that, this morning, The atmosphere inside the barracks feels unusual. There is less joking, less conversation. The fighters are quieter. Everyone knows when an arena match is approaching. The signs are small, a trainer checking equipment more carefully, a guard speaking with the instructors, a fighter spending extra time alone. You notice one of the experienced gladiators sitting quietly in the corner. Normally, he is confident, always moving, always ready. Today, he is staring at the floor. You ask if he is all right. He smiles slightly and says something you did not expect. Even after many battles, the night before a fight is always difficult. At first, this surprises you. You thought the best fighters had no fear. But you are beginning to understand. The strongest people are not those who never feel afraid. They are the ones who know how to continue while afraid. You walk into the training yard. The morning air feels colder than usual. The instructor gathers everyone. Today's lesson is different. Not just movement, not just weapons. Mental preparation. He explains that the arena is designed to overwhelm you. The noise, the size, the attention. Everything is meant to make you feel small. A fighter who loses focus can lose everything. You practice entering through a gate, not a real arena gate, just a training exercise. But even this feels different. You walk forward. Everyone watches. You feel their eyes. You feel pressure. And then you understand something. The arena begins before the fight. It begins the moment people are watching. The instructor tells you to breathe, to stay calm, to remember your training. Your feet know what to do. Your hands know what to do. Your body has practiced thousands of times. Trust it. The exercise continues. Again, again, again. By afternoon, you are exhausted. But something has improved. The fear is still there. It just feels more manageable. Later, you sit with the other gladiators. One fighter talks about his first arena experience. He says the crowd was the strangest part, not the weapons, not the opponent. The crowd. Because the crowd changes everything. A normal fight between two people becomes a performance. Every movement is noticed. Every mistake is judged. A person can become famous in a single day, or forgotten. You think about that. How strange it must feel to have thousands of strangers deciding your story. The wealthy citizens in the seats above will see a few minutes of action, but they will not see the years of training, the pain, the discipline, the waiting. They will only see the final moment. As evening arrives, the barracks become quieter than usual. Some fighters prepare their equipment. Some pray. Some write messages. Some simply sit. Everyone has their own way of handling the night before battle. You check your armor, the helmet, the shield, the weapon. Everything must be ready, because tomorrow there will be no second chance to fix mistakes. You run your fingers over the equipment and realize how much your life now depends on these objects. The shield you trained with, the sword you practiced with, the armor that protects you. They are no longer just items. They are part of your survival. As you lie down, sleep does not come easily. The stone walls feel colder. The sounds around you feel louder. A person nearby is quietly breathing. Someone else is awake. Nobody says it, but everyone is thinking the same thing. Tomorrow. You close your eyes. You imagine the arena, the gates, the sunlight, the crowd, the sound. For a moment your heart beats faster. Then you remember how far you have come. The first day, you struggled to hold a shield. Now you can fight. The first day, you were confused. Now you understand. You are still afraid, but you are prepared. And maybe that is the only thing a gladiator can truly ask for. Because tomorrow, the world outside these walls will finally see you. Tomorrow, the arena opens. The morning arrives. Not like the other mornings. There is no normal feeling today. No simple training. No ordinary routine. Today, everything you have done has been leading to this moment. You wake up before anyone tells you to. For a few seconds you forget where you are. Then you hear it. The sounds outside, the movement of people, the distant voices. The city is awake. And somewhere nearby, thousands of people are preparing for the same event. The arena. You sit quietly and look around the barracks. The same stone walls, the same beds, the same fighters. But everyone feels different. The usual confidence is replaced by concentration. Nobody wastes energy. Nobody talks too much. A gladiator checks his equipment again and again, even though he already checked it many times. Another fighter sits silently, thinking. You understand now. This is not just a fight. This is a moment that changes everything. The guards arrive and call the fighters who will enter the arena. Your name is included. For a moment, everything becomes quiet. Your heart beats faster. You have imagined this. You have prepared for this. But imagination never feels as real as the moment itself. You stand up. Your body moves almost automatically. Training takes over. You put on your equipment. The armor feels heavier today. The helmet feels tighter. The shield feels different. Maybe the equipment has not changed. Maybe you have. You walk with the other gladiators through the stone corridors. The sound of your footsteps echoes. Each step takes you closer. The hallway seems longer than before. Then you hear something. The crowd. At first, it is just a distant noise. A low rumble. Then it grows louder. Thousands of voices. Thousands of people waiting. You reach the entrance. The arena gate is closed in front of you. On the other side is an entire world. You take a breath. The gate begins to move. Light floods through the opening. For a moment, you cannot see clearly. Then everything appears. The massive arena. The sand beneath your feet. The towering seats filled with spectators. The banners. The noise. The size of it all is almost impossible to understand. You realize something. The arena is designed to make you feel small. And it works. You are one person standing in the middle of a huge stone circle. But then you remember, you are not here by accident. You trained. You prepared. You survived every day that brought you here. The crowd reacts. Some cheer. Some shout. Some simply watch. To them, this is a spectacle. A few hours of entertainment. But to you, every second matters. Your opponent enters. The crowd becomes louder. You study him, not as an enemy filled with anger, as a problem you must solve. You notice his stance, his equipment, his movements. Everything matters. The signal is given. The fight begins. The first few seconds are confusing. The noise is overwhelming. Your instincts tell you to react, but your training tells you to stay calm. Your opponent moves quickly. You raise your shield. The impact travels through your arm. You step back. The sand shifts beneath your feet. You understand immediately. The arena is different from training. The ground moves. The space feels larger. The pressure is greater. Everything is harder. Your opponent attacks again. You block, move, respond. Your body remembers. The hours of practice. The endless repetition. The painful training. It all appears now. This is why gladiators train so much. Not because they enjoyed it. Because when the real moment came, there was no time to think. Only action. The crowd reacts to every movement. A successful defense creates cheers. A mistake creates excitement. You realize something strange. The crowd does not see the fear inside you. They only see the fighter. They do not see your memories, your exhaustion, your doubts. They see the person in front of them. The battle continues. You become more focused. The fear does not disappear, but it becomes smaller. The world narrows. The crowd fades into the background. There is only you, your opponent, your training, your next move. For the first time, you truly understand what the older fighters meant. The arena is not about being fearless. It is about controlling yourself when fear is everywhere. The sun moves across the sky. The battle continues. And somewhere deep inside you realize something. You made it here. You are no longer the person who first entered the barracks. You are a gladiator now, not because you wanted an easy life, but because you survived a difficult one. The arena is louder than you ever imagined. Even after training for this moment, nothing prepared you for the reality of thousands of voices surrounding you. The sound is everywhere. Above you, behind you, around you. It feels like the entire world has gathered to watch a single fight. You stand in the sand, your weapon in your hand, your shield raised. Your opponent stands across from you. For a few seconds, neither of you moves. The crowd waits. They want action. They want excitement. But you understand something now. The person standing in front of you is not just an enemy. He is someone who went through the same training. Someone who woke up in the same kind of barracks. Someone who understands the same fear. The difference is simple. Only one of you may walk away stronger. The signal sounds. The fight begins. Your body reacts before your thoughts catch up. Your shield moves. Your feet shift. Your weapon rises. Everything you practice returns. The endless mornings, the painful drills, the repeated movements. All of it was preparation for this exact moment. Your opponent attacks quickly. The strike hits your shield. The force travels through your arm. You feel the impact. The crowd reacts. A roar rises from the seats. For them, it is entertainment. For you, it is survival. You move sideways, trying to create space. The sand beneath your feet makes every step harder. This is something training cannot fully prepare you for. The ground is unpredictable. Your armor is heavy. Your breathing changes. Every movement costs energy. Your opponent attacks again. You block. You respond. The weapons clash. The sound echoes through the arena. You realize how different this is from practice. In training, you know the other person is not trying to truly defeat you. Here, the situation is different. Every opening matters. Every mistake matters. The crowd continues shouting. Some people cheer for you. Some cheer for your opponent. Many do not even care who wins. They simply want a memorable fight. You understand why older gladiators warned you about the arena. The hardest enemy is not always the person holding the weapon. Sometimes it is the pressure, the noise, the fear, the feeling that thousands of eyes are judging every move you make. You take a breath. You remember the training. Stay calm. Watch. Wait. Move. Your opponent becomes impatient. He attacks aggressively. For a moment, it works. You are forced backward. The crowd becomes louder. You feel the pressure building. Then you notice something. His movements are becoming faster, but less controlled. He is using too much energy. The older fighters taught you this. A desperate fighter makes mistakes. You wait. You defend. You let him become tired. Then you move. A quick counter. A careful strike. Not enough to end everything, but enough to change the fight. Now your opponent hesitates. The crowd reacts differently. They notice the change. The battle continues. Time feels strange inside the arena. A few seconds can feel like minutes. A minute can feel endless. Your arms become heavier. Your breathing becomes louder. You start to understand how fighters lose, not because they suddenly become weak, because exhaustion slowly takes control. Your muscles ask you to stop. Your mind tells you to continue. You keep moving, because you have no other choice. The sun is high above. The arena is bright. There is nowhere to hide. Every person watching can see you. The old version of yourself would have been overwhelmed by this. The person who arrived here afraid and confused. But that person is gone. You are still afraid. But you are not frozen. You are still nervous. But you are acting. And that is what survival requires. Your opponent makes another mistake. This time, you are ready. You move forward. The crowd explodes with noise. The fight reaches its most intense moment. Both fighters are exhausted. Both have given everything. And suddenly, you realize something. The arena is not about being perfect. Nobody here is perfect. It is about continuing. Continuing when your body is tired. Continuing when your mind is scared. Continuing when everything tells you to stop. The fight eventually slows. The judges and crowd watch closely. The moment feels endless. Then, finally, the tension changes. The outcome becomes clear. You are still standing. You survived. The crowd reacts. Some cheer, some shout. Some immediately forget and wait for the next event. But you do not forget, because this was not just a performance. This was the moment you discovered who you had become. You leave the arena slowly. Your body hurts. Your armor feels heavier than ever. But you are alive. As you walk back through the gate, the noise begins fading. The massive arena disappears behind you. The stone hallway feels quiet, almost peaceful. You think about how strange the world is. A few hours ago, you were terrified of stepping into the arena. Now you are walking away from it, changed. Not because you won, not because people cheered, because you faced the thing you feared most. And survived. When you return to the barracks after your first arena fight, something feels strange. The place looks exactly the same. The same stone walls. The same sleeping areas. The same equipment resting against the walls. But you feel different. A few hours ago, you walked into the arena as someone who had only imagined what combat would be like. Now you know. The fear. The noise. The pressure. The feeling of every movement having a consequence. You sit down slowly, and only now do you notice how tired you truly are. During the fight, your body ignored the pain. It ignored exhaustion. It focused only on survival. But now that the danger is gone, everything returns. Your arms ache. Your shoulders feel heavy. Your legs feel weak. Small injuries you barely noticed during the battle now become impossible to ignore. This is another part of gladiator life. The fight does not always end when you leave the arena. The body remembers. A healer enters the room and begins checking the fighters. He looks at wounds carefully. Some are small. Some require more attention. Every gladiator hopes for the same thing. A quick recovery. Because the training does not stop for long. The arena may be over today, but tomorrow always comes. You watch the healer work. The methods are different from what you would expect today. There are no modern hospitals, no advanced machines. Instead, there are experienced people who understand injuries through years of observation. They clean wounds. They wrap injuries. They use basic treatments passed down through generations. It is not perfect, but it is what they have, and for many gladiators, it makes the difference between returning to training and being unable to fight again. An older fighter beside you tells you something important. The most dangerous time for a gladiator is not always the battle. Sometimes, it is what happens after. A tired body, a small injury ignored, a mistake during recovery. These things can slowly destroy a fighter. You begin to understand that survival is not just about winning. It is about maintaining yourself. A gladiator must know when to push forward and when to recover. The strongest fighter is not always the one who works the hardest. Sometimes, it is the one who knows how to last. Days pass after your first arena experience. You return to training. At first, you expect everything to feel different. But surprisingly, the training yard feels familiar. The same dust. The same instructors. The same wooden weapons. The same exercises. The arena was terrifying, but the preparation remains the foundation. You practice again. Your movements have changed. You are more aware. You understand why every lesson mattered. Before, you trained because you were told to. Now you train because you understand. Every movement has a reason. Every drill has a purpose. The older gladiators notice the difference. You are no longer just following instructions. You are thinking like a fighter. But fame and survival come with another challenge. Expectation. After a gladiator performs well, People remember. A name spreads. The crowd may recognize you. Trainers may pay more attention. Other fighters may see you differently. Being noticed can be good, but it can also create pressure, because now you have something to lose. A new fighter asks you what the arena feels like. You almost laugh. You remember being that person. You tell him the truth. It is terrifying. It is loud. It is overwhelming. But preparation matters. He listens carefully. And you realize something. You have become one of the experienced fighters, not because you are old, not because you have fought many battles, but because someone newer is looking to you for advice. That is how time changes people. Slowly, quietly, one day at a time. Outside the training yard, Rome continues celebrating. The city loves stories, victories, champions, legends. A successful gladiator can become famous. People may talk about their fights. They may remember their style. They may even admire them. Behind every story is a person who spent years training, years waiting, years wondering what would happen next. At night, you lie down again inside the barracks. The first arena fight is behind you, but many questions remain. How long can you survive this life? How many battles can your body handle? What happens when your luck changes? You do not know. Nobody does. A gladiator lives one fight at a time, one day at a time, one breath at a time. The torches slowly fade. The sounds of the barracks become quieter. And as you close your eyes, you realize something. The arena did not remove your fear. It gladiator teaches you that not every fighter is the same. At first, you thought every gladiator entered the arena with the same equipment, the same training, and the same purpose. But the longer you stay inside these walls, the more you understand. The arena is filled with different kinds of fighters, different styles, different strengths, different weaknesses. Every gladiator has a role, a strategy, a way to survive. During training, you begin noticing the differences. One fighter prefers speed. He moves quickly, avoiding attacks and waiting for the perfect moment. Another relies on strength. He carries heavier equipment and uses power to control the fight. Someone else focuses on defense, surviving longer than anyone expects. The instructors explain that the arena is not a simple contest of strength. It is a match between different approaches. A fast fighter can defeat a stronger one. A patient fighter can defeat an aggressive one. A smart fighter can defeat someone who depends only on power. The first type you study is the heavily protected warrior. This fighter carries large shields and strong armor. The equipment offers protection, but it also comes with a cost. Movement becomes harder. Every step requires more energy. The fighter must be careful. If they waste strength early, they may struggle later. You watch one of these fighters practice. Every movement is slower, but every movement has purpose. The shield covers most of the body. The attacks are controlled. Nothing is random. It reminds you of a moving wall. Slow, heavy, difficult to break. Then you see a completely different style. A lighter fighter enters the training area. Less armor, more speed. The difference is obvious. This fighter moves around opponents instead of directly against them. Quick steps, fast reactions, constant movement. You realize something important. The arena rewards understanding yourself. A fighter cannot simply copy someone else. Each person has to use what they have. Your body, your skills, your training, your mindset. That is why gladiators are so different. They are not all trying to become the same warrior. They are trying to become the best version of themselves. You continue learning. You practice with different partners. Each one teaches you something. A stronger fighter teaches you patience. A faster fighter teaches you awareness. An experienced fighter teaches you caution. Even losing becomes a lesson. That is another strange thing about gladiator training. Failure is not the end. It is information. A mistake shows what needs improvement. A weakness shows where you must focus. The best fighters are not those who never fail. They are the ones who learn quickly. Outside the training yard, the barracks continue their usual rhythm. Some fighters prepare equipment. some exercise, some rest. Everyone has a different routine. You notice that each gladiator has small habits before training or battle. One fighter always checks his shield 3 times. Another walks alone before a fight. Someone else talks constantly because silence makes him nervous. These little habits are reminders that everyone here is still human. Behind the armor is a person. A person with fears, dreams, memories. One evening, you sit with a group of fighters discussing the arena. They talk about famous warriors who became legends, names that people across Rome remember. Some became admired. Some became feared. Some became symbols. But the older fighters remind you of something. Fame is temporary. The crowd can cheer today and forget tomorrow. A gladiator should not fight only for applause, because applause cannot protect you. A famous fighter can still fall. A forgotten fighter can still survive. The goal is simple. Make it through the next battle. As weeks pass, you begin to understand the balance of gladiator life. You are trained to fight, but you spend far more time preparing than fighting. The arena may last minutes. The training lasts years. The victory may be remembered, but the work behind it is almost invisible. That is the part people outside never see. The early mornings, the sore muscles, the repeated drills, the quiet moments before battle, the constant effort. You walk through the training yard one evening and see younger fighters practicing. You remember yourself when you first arrived. Confused, uncertain, trying to understand this world. Now you see the same questions in their faces. And you understand, a gladiator is not created in one fight. It happens slowly, through every difficult day, through every challenge, through every moment where you decide to continue. The sun sets over the stone walls. The arena in the distance becomes quiet. Tomorrow will bring another training session, another chance to improve, another reminder that survival is never guaranteed. You lie down inside the barracks. The sounds around you fade, and you think about all the different fighters who share this strange life. Different weapons, different skills, different stories, but the same hope, to wake up tomorrow. The longer you remain inside the gladiator school, the more you realize that survival is not only about fighting. The arena may be the moment everyone remembers, but most of your life happens away from the sand. It happens in the quiet hours, the training sessions, the meals, the conversations, the waiting. This is where gladiators truly learn how to survive. You wake up another morning, and the routine begins again. The same stone walls surround you. The same sounds fill the air. The same fighters prepare beside you. But your relationship with this place has changed. When you first arrived, every corner felt unfamiliar. Now you know where everything is. You know the training yard. You know the equipment room. You know the faces of the people around you. This place is still not freedom, but it has become your world. After morning exercises, you spend time with other gladiators. There is a strange community here. People who would normally never meet now share the same experience. A fighter from a distant land, a former soldier, a man who once worked in fields, a person who had a completely different life before. Now they all sit together. They all train together. They all understand the same risks. You begin to notice that gladiators are not just fighters. They are also craftsmen. They repair equipment. They help each other. They share advice. A new fighter struggles with his shield. You recognize the problem immediately. His grip is wrong. His stance is too open. Not long ago you made the same mistakes. You show him what you learned. The same way an older fighter helped you. This is how knowledge moves through the gladiator school. From one person to another. Small lessons. Small improvements. A chain of experience. Later you walk through the training area and watch different fighters practice. Some are preparing for upcoming battles. Some are maintaining their skills. Some are recovering. Every gladiator has a different journey. That is something people outside never see. They imagine every fighter lives the same story. But the truth is much more complicated. One person may dream of becoming famous. Another may only want to survive long enough to earn freedom. Another may simply hope to see another sunrise. Everyone has their own reason for continuing. During the afternoon, you work on your equipment. A gladiator learns quickly that taking care of weapons is part of taking care of yourself. A damaged helmet, a weak strap, a cracked shield. These are not small problems. They are warnings. You clean your armor carefully. You check every piece. You have learned not to ignore details. The arena punishes carelessness. While working, another fighter asks you about your first battle. You tell him about the noise, the crowd, the pressure, the strange feeling of standing in the center of thousands of people. He listens carefully. You realize something. Your experience has value, not because you are famous, not because you are the strongest, but because you have been there. You understand something another person has not experienced yet. That matters. As evening arrives, the mood becomes calmer. The training yard empties. The sounds of weapons disappear. The dust settles. For a moment, the place almost feels peaceful. You sit outside and look toward the distant city. Rome is enormous, a place filled with power, wealth, and history. People walk through the streets without knowing what happens behind these walls. They see the games, they see the excitement, but they do not see the preparation, the years of work, the people waiting, the lives hidden behind the spectacle. You think about how strange it is. A gladiator can become famous, but the person behind the fame is often forgotten. The crowd remembers victories. They remember names. They remember dramatic moments, but they rarely remember the quiet days. The ordinary days, the days where a gladiator simply woke up and tried to become better. Night falls. Inside the barracks, some fighters talk softly. Others prepare for sleep. A few are getting ready for battles coming soon. You hear one fighter say he hopes to survive long enough to earn his freedom. Another says he wants people to remember his name. Another says he just wants a peaceful life. Different dreams. Same place. Same struggle. You lie down and think about your own future. You do not know how many battles remain. You do not know what tomorrow brings. But you have learned one thing. A gladiator's greatest victory is not always defeating an opponent. Sometimes it is surviving the journey. Another day ends. The torches become dim. The stone walls grow quiet. And as you close your eyes, the world outside fades away. Tomorrow, you will train again. You will wake again. You will continue. Because that is what gladiators do. They endure. The days continue passing, and you begin to understand one of the strangest parts of being a gladiator. You never truly know what tomorrow will bring. A normal morning can become a preparation day. A simple training session can turn into a reminder that another fight is coming. Everything is uncertain, but somehow, life continues. You wake up, stretch your tired body, and look around the barracks. The same fighters are there. The same routines continue. Someone is repairing equipment. Someone is practicing movements. Someone is quietly thinking about the future. The gladiator school has become a place where everyone learns the same lesson. Nothing is guaranteed. You step outside into the training yard. The air is cool. The ground is still damp from the morning. For a short moment, before the noise begins, the place feels peaceful. It is easy to forget that this is a place built around combat. Then the instructors arrive, and the day begins. Training is no longer just about learning how to fight. It is about maintaining what you have built. A gladiator cannot stop improving. The moment you believe you are good enough is the moment you become careless. You practice your movements, your shield work, your footwork, your timing. You repeat actions you already know. At first, you wonder why you keep practicing the same things. But now you understand. A fighter does not train because they forgot. They train because pressure changes everything. In the arena, fear can make a person forget simple things. Training makes those actions automatic. Your body remembers even when your mind is overwhelmed. During practice, you work with a fighter who has much more experience. He is not the strongest person you have met. He is not the fastest. but he is extremely difficult to defeat. You quickly discover why. He does not rush. He watches. He waits. He wastes almost no energy. Every movement has a reason. You attack. He blocks. You try another approach. He adjusts. You become frustrated because nothing seems to surprise him. After the exercise, he gives you advice. He tells you that many fighters lose because they want the fight to end quickly. They become impatient. They take unnecessary risks. A smart gladiator understands that survival comes first. Winning is important, but staying alive is the goal. You think about this. It is different from how you imagined warriors. Stories often make fighters look fearless and aggressive, but real survival is usually quieter. It is patience, control, discipline, the ability to stay calm while everything around you is chaos. Later, you walk through the equipment area. You notice how much work happens behind every arena performance. Someone repairs armor. Someone prepares weapons. Someone checks supplies. The audience sees only the finished moment. They do not see everything required to create it. The arena is like a stage, but behind every stage is preparation, and gladiators spend most of their lives behind the curtain. In the afternoon, you hear news. Another fighter will enter the arena soon. The atmosphere changes immediately. Everyone understands what it means. A battle is coming. The fighter preparing for it tries to act normal. He trains. He eats. He rests. But everyone can see the tension. You remember how you felt before your first fight. The uncertainty. The thoughts that would not stop. You sit with him and share what you learned. Not because you know everything. You do not. But because sometimes hearing another person say, "I understand," helps. The fighter listens, and for a moment, the fear becomes lighter. That evening, the barracks are quieter. Everyone knows someone is facing the arena soon. You begin thinking about the strange connection between gladiators. You are competitors. You may fight each other one day, but you are also the only people who truly understand this life. The people outside can watch. They can cheer. They can judge, but they do not know what it feels like to stand there. Only another gladiator knows. Night arrives. You lie down and listen to the sounds around you. The quiet conversations. The footsteps of guards. The distant city. Rome never completely sleeps. Somewhere outside, people are living ordinary lives. Shopping. Talking. Eating. Laughing. Inside these walls, fighters prepare for uncertain futures. Two completely different worlds exist side by side. You close your eyes. Tomorrow may bring another training day, another battle, another challenge. You cannot control everything. A gladiator learns that quickly. But you can control your preparation, your discipline, your response. And sometimes, that is enough. The night grows deeper. The torches fade. The barracks become silent. Another day of the gladiator's life ends, not with glory, not with applause, just with survival. And for now, survival is victory. The longer you live this life, the more you realize that a gladiator is not only fighting enemies. A gladiator is fighting time. Every morning you wake up is another chance. Every training session is another test. Every battle is another question. How long can you continue? The stone walls around you have seen countless fighters come and go. Some became famous. Some disappeared. Some survived long enough to earn a new life. Others became